Week 16, fantasy semifinals, bonus start sit show for you. For the people. That's what we're here for. We're here for the people. It's crunch time. It's now time to win championships. There's no fucking around at this point. We're all in. We're here to win. We play to win the game. Bonus start sit show for you. So, obviously, we had some football today. Had some ugliness in the first one. The second one wasn't bad for fantasy. You know, Lamar Jackson, 3 touchdown passes. Derrick Henry had a day. Didn't find the end zone, but he had a day. Zay Flowers over 100 yards. Calvin Austin making some plays. All right. I'll be honest, I missed the first game. I missed the first game. But I looked over the box score pretty quickly. And we can get into it. But it was kind of ugly. It's kind of gross. So why don't we just dive into that while we're waiting for questions? Because obviously, you know, it takes a little bit of time for people to come in and realize that we're live, drop their questions. So what do you think of the games? So let's look at Chiefs Texans. This is the one I did not watch. I wasn't available. Not available. Wasn't available to watch it. The Saturday games, you know what? That's one of these things that we get to this point in the season. Am I the only one that feels this way? It's like a little much. Like, all right, you know, you got us on Sundays all day. You got us on Mondays, all right. You got us on Thursdays. Now we're gonna add Saturdays. Now we're gonna add Wednesdays. Like, what the fuck? Like, not as bad as I don't like it, but I don't hate it as much as I hate the early morning Sunday London games. Those I hate with a freaking passion. I hate it so much. But it's like, give me, like, can I have a day, a moment without football, or like once in a while? Like, can I do that? Just please, like, especially like this time of year, like, can I just have a day where we don't have to watch football all day? And you know, I didn't do it. I watched the second game. It was a good game. I did pick the proper game to sit out because it looking at the box score, it kind of looks like I didn't really miss much. I mean, obviously we knew the Texans were going to win. I mean, the Chiefs were going to win. I did see a replay of the Tank Dell injury. But, oh my God, Tank Dell. Again, even worse this time. Oh, this time, last time he broke his leg. And I think he still was feeling the effects of that procedure that he had on the broken leg. He was still feeling that this year. We weren't going to get a full back to 100% Tank Dell until 2025 anyway. Now it sounds like, just based on the preliminary reports, we got, you know, dislocated kneecap, possible multiple ligament damage in that knee. Hasn't had surgery yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Probably multiple surgeries. You're gonna have to go in. You're gonna have to repair this guy. You're gonna have to repair that ligament, this ligament. Reattach the. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Reattach the kneecap. I don't know. Sounds like multiple procedures. And a lot of times you got to recover from one before you can go in and do the other. Tank Dell 2026. We're not seeing Tank Dell in 2025. I can assure you that. We will not see Tank Dell on a football field in 2025. We're going to be lucky to get full 100% healthy Tank Dell in 2026. That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. Tank Dell's a good player, man. He's a good player. When he's healthy, when he's full go, Tank Dell. CJ Stroud is pretty shaken up. That was his guy. That was his guy. Not to throw to, but it was his guy. He pounded the table to draft him. Remember that? CJ Stroud hadn't even signed a contract with the Texans yet. And he was like, you know what, go draft that guy. That was tanked out. Why don't we grab Paco's Paco question here? Let's bench one of these guys. Drake London, Kenneth Walker. Man, I hate not having first names. Drake London, Kenneth Walker, Wilson. You can help me out here. Wilson. Maybe I should know who Wilson is. But like, that's the most generic name in the world. You gotta help me out here. You gotta, I mean, if you're gonna make the show good, help somebody out. Give us some names. Give us some first names. I know Drake London. We can handle that. Kenneth, I'm guessing it's Kenneth Walker. I'm definitely going to sit Kenneth Walker over London, but I don't know who Wilson is. It's not Russell. It ain't Roman. Garrett? I thought of one. Is it Garrett Wilson? In which case, I guess we're sitting Kenneth Walker. The Vikings are, there we go. I got it. It's Garrett Wilson. All right. I knew I could get there eventually. I think we got to sit Kenneth Walker there. I think Rams Jets could be a shootout, even though I'd rather have Devontae Adams in that passing game. Kenneth Walker, first game back. Zach Charbonnet has been playing well, though he has an injury of his own currently, but he's been playing well. Vikings defense, kind of tough against the run. They invite the pass. Bring it on. Bring the pass. I think I would sit Kenneth Walker there. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a 50-50 split in that backfield between he and Charbonnet, and I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of carries in that game. It's going to be a drop back and throw. They're going to have to keep up. They're going to keep up with Sam Darnold. Whoever thought that sentence would be uttered, you got to keep up with Sam Darnold. They got it. So I'm gonna sit Kenneth Walker and start London and Wilson. Of course, London is certainly a risk as well. Michael Penix. They're inserting the Penix. He's in. The Penix is in. He's going to give to London. I think he will. How about this one from Jelly of the Month? Half PPR, Patrick Taylor, Kendre Miller, Tyrone Tracy in the flex spot. I think at this point, we just got to go default 49ers running back. Right? Is that what we do? Just default whoever they're rolling out in San Francisco in the backfield. We just got to go with that guy. Because they've all performed well. The offense is built for running back production. I think we go Patrick Taylor. I like Kendre Miller, but that offense is going to be dreadful. Going against a pretty solid Packers defense. I like Kendre Miller. I do. I certainly, in a vacuum, I would take Kendre Miller and Tyrone Tracy way over Patrick Taylor. They're far more talented, especially Tyrone Tracy. I think we're going to go Patrick Taylor. I really do. I think we're going to go Patrick Taylor there, unfortunately. And Tyrone Tracy specifically he's got a place in my heart, man. He's got a place in my heart for sure. He always will. I hope they don't draft a running back. I really hope the Giants don't go into 2025 and say, you know what? We lost Saquon Barkley. Look what he's doing in Philadelphia. Because you know that owner, John Mara, he's pissed. He is so pissed at that front office for letting Saquon Barkley go. Not only go, but go to the division rival Eagles, dominate the league, be an MVP candidate, possibly break the rushing yardage record. He's so pissed about that. He's going to demand that they add a running back. whether it's in free agency, whether it's in the draft. I hope they don't do it, because Tyrone Tracy can be the guy you get. And that should not be the position that an offense, that a team, that a franchise, in the situation that the Giants are in currently, in absolute full rebuild mode, you don't need to be going investing heavily into the running back position anyway. That's the last position you should be worried about. Build the offensive line. Get some receivers. Build up the defense. Get a quarterback. Maybe that's a genius idea. Maybe you should have drafted one. It was a historically good quarterback draft class. All of them that have played so far are looking like hits. Even Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is probably still going to be good. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix. We like Michael Penix. The Penix is in. J.J. McCarthy hasn't played yet, but indications were early in training camp he was looking good. They passed on all of them. Well, a few of them. They were the 5th pick. They passed on half of those quarterbacks for a receiver. I'll give you, Malik Neighbors is a damn good receiver. He's going to be a damn good receiver in this league for a long damn time. But they passed on a quarterback. Stick with Daniel Jones for a wide receiver. That's not how you build a franchise. So I'm worried, back to the Saquon Barkley, Tyrone Tracy thing, I'm worried that the Giants are going to go out and they're going to prioritize the running back position. And that's going to just tank Tyrone Tracy. I hate it so much because Tyrone Tracy is so good. This is a guy who has been a running back for 2 years. He was a receiver before this. His last year in college, he was a running back. This year, he's a running back. And look how good he's been. The offensive line is terrible. The offensive environment is terrible, which is why he hasn't been productive over the last month. But we've seen the juice. We've seen the explosive plays. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He was a receiver. He can be an all-purpose, explosive, play-making running back in that backfield. You don't need to go invest in another position. Let's get this one from Tyler. Tyler's asking, do I have a shot still? I'm down 54 points. Ooh, I have my whole team. Oh, he's only played 4 and 9. His opponent's already played 4 players, and he's only got 50. He's only got 54 points. What is that? That's 11 points a game? No, 12. I know math. It's 13 and a half points. I know math. It's 13 and a half per player. You can beat that. You can beat that easy. Easy. You got a shot. Hell yeah, you got a shot. Hell yeah, you got a shot. Because I know Tyler. He's got good teams. He's got good players on his teams. Tyler's got good players on his teams. He can overcome that. Easy. Easy peasy. You got it. You got it in the bag. I'm not worried at all. 9 against 5 to outdo 54 points. That's what you got to do. Easy. You got it. I'm not worried. You're going to be back here next week asking about week 17 questions because you're going to win this week. We got it. Finally dropped Jalen Waddle. Yeah, unfortunately, Jalen he started to flash. He started to get it going a little bit. He had 200-yard games in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And he got hurt. It's over. Jalen Waddle. I like him in Dynasty though. You gotta buy Jalen Waddle in Dynasty. He's cheap. Cheapest you'll get him in a long time. This guy had 1,000-yard seasons for 3 straight years to start his career. He commanded volume. He made plays down the field. This just wasn't the year. I like Waddle for a big bounce back in 2025. Go buy him in Dynasty. RIP for 2024, though. So picked up Brenton Strange. Should we start him over TJ Hawkinson? Ooh, I like me some Brenton Strange this week. I made a video earlier in the week where I talked about, actually broke it into 6 categories. I looked at the matchups and kind of I gave you 6 categories worth of players that I liked or didn't like. I had a must sit. Go back and watch it to see who I said was a must sit. Brenton Strange was my streamer of the week. Brenton Strange could smash. Now the only argument you could make against Brenton Strange this week, because he's performed really well in the games. If you take the averages of the games for Brenton Strange in the games where Evan Ingram was out, I think it was five games that Evan Ingram's missed between earlier in the year and the last couple of weeks. If you take the averages that Brenton Strange produced in those games and you extrapolate it out for a full 17-game season, Brenton Strange would be the tight end 7 currently. So I do like Brenton Strange. Now, the only argument against him this week, or at least not to be as enthusiastic about him possibly repeating what he did in week 15, is that this week, as opposed to last week when they were in a shootout with the Jets and Mac Jones threw the ball like 40-something times, which turned out to, 11? I believe it was 11, 12 targets. It was either 11 or 12 targets for Brenton Strange. I think he caught 11 of 12. Either way, I don't know that the volume is going to be there this week. The Raiders are a fantastic matchup for tight ends. How many times is Mac Jones going to have to drop back against Raiders? That's not going to be a 35 to whatever it was, 27. I don't remember what the score was. Not going to be a high-scoring shootout like the Jaguars were in last week against the Jets. This is going to be probably closer to what we saw on Monday Night Football, or didn't see because nobody watched that game, against the Falcons. Where is 15-7 or something? It's going to be closer to that type of game environment, Raiders Falcons, as what Jaguars Raiders is going to be this week, which could bring down the passing volume for Mac Jones, which obviously means fewer targets for everybody in that offense. Brian Thomas Jr., Brenton Strange. That's it. That's it. But that's a great case for Brenton Strange. That's it. It's Brian Thomas, it's Brenton Strange, and then you're done. That's it. That's the whole list. You're not throwing anybody else. Parker Washington. There's no target competition there. No Gabe Davis. No Christian Kirk. They're gone. No Evan Ingram. They're goners. They're dead and buried. Mac Jones, even though he likes to throw interceptions, he does like to throw the ball to the other team. He likes to fumble a lot too. I'm a Patriots fan. I saw him fumble a lot. He's proven to be competent, at least in able to fuel our fantasy assets. So, long story short. No, short story long. I think I'd start Brenton Strange over TJ Hawkinson. While the passing volume might not be as high, I think I could make a stronger case to play Brenton Strange this week than I could to play TJ Hawkinson. I'm actually going to look at my rankings to actually see where I have them. I bet they're probably kind of close. But I bet I have Brenton Strange over TJ Hawkinson. I do like Brenton Strange a lot this week. And if you want more sophisticated thoughts, instead of just rambling on Brenton Strange, you can go back and watch that video from earlier in the week. And I have Brenton Strange tight end 9 and TJ Hawkinson tight end 10. And I'm actually going to bump Tucker Kraft down a little bit and make Brenton Strange a little bit higher in my rankings. On air, live. Rankings changes. Talked myself into it. All right. Oh, yes. And you're also blocking another team, a competitor, from picking up Brenton Strange? Yes. Because Brenton Strange is going to be startable for the next 2 weeks. Don't let anybody else have him. Don't let him have him. Don't let him have him. Don't let it happen. All right. Thanks. Jelly of the month. Appreciate you. Happy holidays to you as well. Appreciate you entertaining my rambling thoughts. How about Shadow is Wicked? Pick 2. We need one wide receiver and we need one flex between Marvin Harrison, the Bus Jr., Adam Thielen, Jalen McMillan. Speaking of my videos earlier in the week, Jalen McMillan was my rookie of the week. Also, while you're here, I have another show starting in probably about an hour right here on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. We usually go 9:15 with Sam, talking the sleepers and streamers of week 16. I don't want to give it away, but Jalen McMillan is going to be one of my choices as top sleepers of the week. So I do like McMillan. Anyway, Rachaad White, Jerome Ford, Kendre Miller, Patrick Taylor. Okay, so let's start with, let's pick the receiver first. It's Marvin Harrison Jr., Adam Thielen, Jalen McMillan. I know for a fact that I have McMillan ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. Let me see where I have Thielen. I'm guessing I have him ahead of McMillan, which I do by a few spots against the Cardinals. So I do like Adam Thielen here. I love McMillan, but I think we still got to go Adam Thielen as the wide receiver. And then a running back, or I guess a flex. So we got to factor in Harrison Jr., McMillan, Rachaad White, Jerome Ford, Kendre Miller, Patrick Taylor. I got Patrick Taylor as my RB20 this week. I do have Rachaad White ranked pretty highly, even though he's in that split backfield with Bucky Irving. And then you get Jerome Ford, who is going to get a pretty good workload. He's got a really good matchup. Now, what happens with how is D'Onta Foreman going to be factored into that offense? Probably not a whole lot, I would guess, but who knows? He's been inactive because they haven't needed him because they've had Chubb and Ford. But I think I'm going to go Rachaad White there. I think I'm going to go Rachaad White in the flex. Rachaad White against the Cowboys. There could be a lot of points. That's the highest point total on the week. There could be a lot of points scored in that game. There's going to be some passing in that game. I think there's going to be opportunities for both Bucky Irving and Rachaad White in that game. I think I'm going to go Thielen at wide receiver, Rachaad White in the flex. But you really probably couldn't go wrong between Rachaad White, Adam Thielen, Jalen McMillan, Patrick Taylor, and maybe even Jerome Ford. I kind of have them all kind of lumped pretty close together. But I would go Thielen and Rachaad White. Tough choice. It's going to be hard to get that one right. But that's who I would gamble with. Tyler's asking a kicker question. I'm the worst guy to ask kicker questions to. I don't rank kickers, and I don't play in any leagues. That's a lie. I played in the Scott Fish Bowl that used kickers, but I just drafted one kicker, and he stayed in my lineup the whole year except for the bye week. That was Tyler Bass. So let's just analyze the offenses, I guess. So if the Vikings kicker or Chad Ryland in Arizona, I think we got to go the Vikings kicker. Let's go the Vikings kicker. The rookie, he's been good. I don't think it's Richard, though. I don't think it's Richard. It's close. I don't think it's Richard. I could be wrong. I'm not a kicker guy. I would go with the Vikings kicker. How about Mr. Magic? What is up, Mr. Magic? Good to see you in the chat. Any Tony Pollard news? Because I want to fire him up. Or actually, I want to fire up Tajay Spears. Let's check out what's the latest on Tony Pollard. I know he's questionable. He missed practice all week due to his ankle injury. But he does have a chance to play. We've seen this a couple of times from Tony Pollard this year, where he's been limited or he's missed a couple games. I think he'll play, but we saw Tajay Spears last week get a ton of work with Tony Pollard hindered by the ankle injury. Yeah, I think he could play Spears either way. Whether hold on, I got to get back to this question with Tyler. I forgot about that. We got to get back to that in a minute. But let's just finish this one. Spears. All right, Spears. I think we could fire up Spears. I do. I think they're going to be playing in Indianapolis, which it's hard to say that the Colts are going to get out to a big lead, which is going to make the Titans have to play from behind. It's probably going to be fairly close, but Tajay Spears is an explosive player. He looked good last week. He looked healthy, probably the healthiest he's looked all year. Last week, he catches passes. He's explosive. He can make plays. Obviously, we don't know your other options, but I feel okay. I don't love it. It's still the Titans offense. It's still Mason Rudolph. Pollard is probably going to be there, so he's still going to get mixed in. But I think in some circumstances, I would feel okay playing Tajay Spears if I needed to. I just want to jump back to this kicker question real quick. Tyler reminded me. The weather. I'm not that worried about the rain. Last I saw, there could be some wind. I got to look into this a little bit more before tomorrow. I usually don't look at the weather reports until late Saturday, just because things change so much throughout the week. But last I saw, there could be some wind in that game, which has me worried. Which is fine. Which makes I'm totally fine playing Ryland if that's the case. It's close enough, I think, where it's like, you know what? Let's just play the guy who we know is going to be in better conditions. He's still going to be outdoors in the cold in Carolina. We can play Ryland. If the weather's going to be an issue, we can play Ryland. I don't have a problem with it. It's close enough. Back to Jonathan. Drake London, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Malik Neighbors, Jordan Addison. We need 3 of these guys. We're definitely going to go Mike Evans. We definitely got to go Terry McLaurin. I know it's a tough matchup against the Eagles, but I think we still got to go with Terry McLaurin. And then I think we got to go Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is just like a lock. He's a lock for 12 targets, 6 catches, 67 yards. Maybe he scores a touchdown. Maybe he doesn't, but he's locked into 12 fantasy points. I like that it's going to be Drew Lock and not Tommy DeVito. Obviously, Drew Lock's a terrible quarterback, but I do like him better than Tommy DeVito. That would be the 3 I would play. Addison's been hot, but I think I'd play Evans, McLaurin, and Neighbors. Ken is asking, Jerome Ford or Rachaad White? I'd go Rachaad White there, especially in PPR. We talked about it earlier. Buccaneers, Cowboys, highest point total on the slate this week. Should be a lot of points scored in that game, which is just going to open things up for the Buccaneers offense, give opportunities for Rachaad White to catch passes, score touchdowns, even with the presence of Bucky Irving in that offense. I would play him over Jerome Ford because we could get a game where Rachaad White touches the ball 12 to 15 times and Jerome Ford touches the ball 20 times, but Rachaad White outscores him by 10 points. Because Rachaad White is just he's a much more dynamic pass catcher at that backfield. He's a much better offense. If Jameis Winston was quarterbacking the Browns, this would be a lot closer, and I would probably say Jerome Ford. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to pull down that entire Browns offense. Is going to be a wasteland. I hate this for anybody who has been riding Jerry Jeudy. If you picked up Jerry Jeudy or you just held him all year and he finally broke out over the last 6 weeks or so, He's making a huge difference. He's probably one of the biggest reasons why you're still here in week 16 in the semifinals. But I think you might have to bench him at this point. He got you here, but you might have to put him on the bench. I saw this tweet, blew my mind a couple of days ago. It might have been yesterday. I don't know when it was. It doesn't matter. Josh Larkey on Twitter. Follow him. He's a great follow. He gives some great, he's got great, charts, matchup charts. He does fantastic work. He shared a nugget that it just blew my mind. Dorian Thompson-Robinson has 146 pass attempts in his career. That's not a ton, but it's enough. It's enough to be a sample that we can work with. He has one completion that went for more than 18 yards. Not just 18 air yards. Catch and run, air yards, whatever it is. One completion that went more than 18 yards in his entire career. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. That is terrifying for anybody who is counting on Jerry Jeudy. I know this is a Jerome Ford question, but the point is Dorian Thompson-Robinson is pulling down that entire offense. I don't care if you think that, okay, well, if he can't throw it, he's going to turn around and run it. It doesn't matter. Jerome Ford carried the ball 30 times in a Dorian Thompson-Robinson offense and get half the production that he would get on 12 carries in a Jameis Winston offense. Because the Jameis Winston offense, while he turns the ball over a ton, it's so much more efficient. There's so much more upside for everyone in that offense. They're scoring touchdowns. They're moving the football. There's explosive plays in that offense. We're not going to get that in the Dorian Thompson-Robinson offense. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be gross. It's going to be ugly. People are going to be begging for Jameis Winston to be put back in that game. And for that reason, we got to play Rashad White over Jerome Ford. Darnold or Stafford. All right, let's just do it. Let's break the bank. Let's look into. Let's look at the weather report. The latest weather report. Seahawks, Vikings, weather. Let's get an accurate, up-to-date weather report on that game. Here we go. 10 hours ago from Bleacher Report. Gusty rain is how they're describing it. So the chance of participation is close to 100%. Winds are expected to pick up throughout the day and could feature gusts of up to 25 miles per hour for that game. Not great. I don't give a shit about rain. I can tell you right now. Unless it's a monsoon, which we saw a few weeks ago, one of the 49ers games. I don't remember who they were playing. Was it the 49ers? Was it the 49ers the Bills or was that snow? I don't remember. It was a monsoon game a few weeks ago. I don't remember who it was. And that type of rain condition will bring it down. Otherwise, if it's just normal rain, I don't give a shit. The wind is where you lose me. The wind is where we really hurt the passing game. We really hurt the efficiency of the offenses overall. It hurt the kicking game. So if we got wind and rain in that game, yeah, you got a right to be concerned. In which case, we got to go Matthew Stafford. I don't know what the weather situation is there. I think it's fine. I haven't heard anything about any concerns about weather in the Jets Rams game. But the Jets offense has picked things up. The Rams offense has picked things up. Which means this could be a high-scoring game. I think both teams can get to 30 points. And if that's the case, Stafford's going to smash. Pick him up. So we go, Ken is asking Jaden Daniels or Michael Penix. We definitely got to go Jaden Daniels. I know he's got a tough matchup against the Eagles. And he was what, the QB 24, 25 last time he played the Eagles? I don't care about that. It's Michael Penix, first start, rookie. I want to play Jaden Daniels. I'm going to play Jaden Daniels. Darnell Mooney or Jalen McMillan. Ooh, I think we got to go Jalen McMillan. We got a rookie quarterback. It's a rookie quarterback, right? Rookie quarterback, Michael Penix. As much as I like Michael Penix, if I'm trusting anybody in that passing game this week, it's going to be Drake London. I like McMillan a lot. I talked about McMillan on a video earlier. I'm going to talk about him on the Sleeper Show. Spoiler alert, in about 40 minutes from now on this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm going to go Jalen McMillan over Darnell Mooney. I like him a lot. And we got the word today that Cade Otton's going to be out. Cade Otton's going to be out. Cade Otton was already being phased out of that offense. Now he's not even going to be on the field. Last target competition for Jalen McMillan. Wheels all the way up for Jalen McMillan. He's a good start this week. Ken is asking T. Higgins or Brian Thomas Jr. Ooh, I think we got to go T. Higgins. Question mark. Ooh. I'm looking at the rankings. I got Brian Thomas Jr. as my wide receiver 10 and T. Higgins as my wide receiver 12. So yes, please get them both in there. Please, can we find a way? Can you find a way to get them both in there? Otherwise, it's kind of a coin flip at this point. If I had to choose, I guess I would go Brian Thomas Jr. against the Raiders. Because we just talked about how poor the Browns offense is going to be. It could be more of a Chase Brown game than a drop back and throw the ball 50 times with Joe Burrow game. I'd go Brian Thomas. No target competition in that offense. He's been getting a ton of targets from Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been competent enough to get him the football. Eric is sad that he started Joe Mixon. Wished he pivoted to Ford. I still think it was okay to start Mixon over Ford. However, I can't remember. I must have said it somewhere. In one of my videos or shows earlier in the week. I said it somewhere. I wanted nothing to do with, unless it was just in my head. That's very possible. I wanted nothing to do with Joe Mixon this week, if I could help it. Between his ankle injury, I did. I said it on one of my videos earlier in the week. The matchups video. The best and worst matchups for week 16. Yes, I did. Between the injury, the ankle injury that he was coming in with, and the difficult matchup against the Chiefs defense, their run defense is so good. And you knew there weren't going to be a lot of points in that game. I mean, it wasn't a low-scoring game, but it wasn't a high-scoring game. It wasn't a Mixon week, unfortunately. You couldn't sit him. I wouldn't have sat him for Ford, to be honest with you. I still would have started Mixon. If that makes you feel any better, I still think you made the right choice. But we knew it wasn't going to go well. Unfortunately, I started Isaiah Pacheco in a matchup this week, and I just knew. I knew when I put him in the lineup, I just knew it wasn't going to go well. I knew it. And I had nothing to pivot to. I could have gone Calvin Austin. Maybe I should have gone Calvin Austin. It was a tight end premium league. Maybe I should have gone Isaiah Likely. I was kind of thinking during watching that game, maybe I should have gone Isaiah Likely. But it's just one of those that you put the guy in the lineup, you just know it's not going to go well, and hope the rest of your team makes up for it, unfortunately. Tyson's asking, start one, Jerome Ford, Travis Etienne, or Patrick Taylor, full PPR. So this one, I'm throwing Etienne out. So it's down to Jerome Ford or Patrick Taylor. I got them close. I think we just got to go with the default, who's ever starting at running back for the 49ers. And this week, it's Patrick Taylor. I got him as my RB20. I got Jerome Ford as my RB22. It's sad because Jerome Ford has a fantastic matchup against the Bengals. That offense with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, it's going to be disgusting. I don't want it. I don't want any Browns if I can help it. I'm going to go Patrick Taylor. How about Jalen Coker or Patrick Taylor? Coker's fun. Coker is fun. If you've never tried Coker, it's fun. But we still got to go Patrick Taylor. We got to go Patrick Taylor because we're trusting a really fringy wide receiver in an offense that has an Adam Thielen. I know with Xavier Legette out, that really increases the chances of Jalen Coker having a good game. Just less target competition. But it's still Bryce Young. Anything could happen negatively. I just want to go Patrick Taylor. The 49ers create running back production like nobody else. Even Patrick Taylor can get you 10, 12, 15 points. He's not going to be a 20-point guy. We saw Christian McCaffrey score 20 points all the time. Isaac Guerrero gave us a 20-point game. Jordan Mason gave us multiple 20-point games. Patrick Taylor doesn't have that in him. Patrick Taylor's not going to be a 20-point running back. But Patrick Taylor can get you 12 to 15 points. That could be all you need as your RB2, as your flex play. I want him over Coker. I don't think we're not going to get another 83-yard touchdown from Jalen Coker. It's just not going to happen. It's not. We can't bank on that. We can't chase that one big play that he had last week. He can get you 7 for 70, and he gives you 14 points. But you know what? That's what Patrick Taylor's going to give you anyway. Whereas the floor for Jalen Coker is he has 2 targets, no catches. 1 catch for negative 1 yard. I could see that. I could see Jalen Coker having 2 targets, 1 catch, negative 1 yard. That's the risk. Patrick Taylor is going to at least get you 10 points. I'm going Patrick Taylor. I think the ceiling is higher for Patrick Taylor. The floor is way higher. Higher. I can't tell. Who knows? Noah Fant, Grant Calcaterra at tight end. I think we're just gonna go Grant Calcaterra. Just go Grant Calcaterra. Better offense. Just go Grant Calcaterra. Ken is asking. Ken is going back to a previous question. FYI, my other 2 wide receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown and Puka Nacua. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate you. Okay. Yeah, no, so I would still start both of those guys over Brian Thomas and T. Higgins. So we're still sitting T. Higgins there, unfortunately. All right. How about from Blake? Blake is asking, how do you feel about Keenan Allen this week? My teams are a mess with Kamara and Pickens out. Yeah, that sucks. I feel pretty good. I do. I feel pretty good about Keenan Allen. I do. Going against the Lions, I do wish this was an on-the-road in Detroit game, because I think the Lions would score more points in that game, which would make the Bears have to come from behind and throw the ball even more than they're going to have to in this game. And, of course, to get that track field, to get that perfect game environment, indoors in the dome, that would be much better for the Bears passing game. But I'm okay with it. They're still going to trail from behind. They're still going to be playing from behind. If there's anything that's been positive coming out of the Bears offense, it's been Keenan Allen, which is annoying because Keenan Allen's probably not even going to be a Bear next year. And at this point, let's just develop some rapport with Caleb Williams and Roman Dunze, with Caleb Williams and DJ Moore. Let's get that going. Fuck Keenan Allen. Get him out of here. He's not going to be here next year. Let's get him out of here. But that's not how NFL teams think, unfortunately. They don't have that. It's wild that they don't have that foresight. I let's see where I got him ranked real quick. I like Keenan Allen. He's a fine play. I mean, he's not like I love him. It's not like smashing him in, but I got him as my wide receiver 32. He's right in there as a mid-pack wide receiver 3. You play him. How about Steven is asking Jonathan Taylor, Malik Neighbors, Devontae Adams. Pick 2 of these guys, half PPR. I want Devontae Adams. I want Malik Neighbors. Neighbors and Devontae. You can't say Adams. Adams has been so hot. That could be a fun shootout with the Rams. So we're definitely going Devontae. Jonathan Taylor has a decent matchup. I believe the Colts are favored in that game at home. So if Jonathan Taylor is going to play well, he's going to score fantasy points. It's going to be this week. Although the Titans have a pretty good defense, especially against the run. The Titans do have an underrated defense. And their offense, because of Anthony Richardson being bad, is really pulling down Jonathan Taylor. Malik Neighbors, we talked about it earlier. He's a lock. He's a lock for 12 fantasy points. He's going to get you 10, 12 targets, 6 catches, 60, 75 yards or so. He's a good, safe play, I think, no matter who's a quarterback. Imagine what's going to happen when Malik Neighbors is in an offense with a good offensive line and a competent quarterback. Just imagine. Just sit back, just close your eyes and just see it. Oh, it's so good. Oh, so good. So good. How about Ray? Ray is asking, Lamar got me off to a good start. Yes, me too. I was concerned. I started Lamar in multiple leagues this week. I was looking at the match. I'm like, shit. The last time the Ravens played the Steelers, 5 weeks ago, he was the QB 24. He only scored 15 fantasy points. I really need more than that this week. Especially in that game when I talked about where I had to play Isaiah Pacheco, and I just knew Pacheco wasn't going to score any points. I needed the other players on the lineup to outdo that. Lamar got off to a great start. In non-PPR, if Zach Ertz plays, would you go Zach Ertz or Hunter Henry? That one's tough. Because Zach Ertz has been a reliable tight end 1 all year. Just like that tight end 7 to tight end 12 range. He's been living in that range all year. But Hunter Henry hasn't been far behind. And I like the game environment for Hunter Henry. The Bills are going to blow out the Patriots, which means the Patriots are going to be playing from behind. They're going to be playing in comeback mode. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot in that game against the Bills, which could mean a lot of Hunter Henry targets. I think I want to play Hunter Henry. I do. I think I want to play Hunter Henry. But Zach Ertz is the number 2 option in that passing game. Tough matchup. I don't know. I think I'd lean Henry. Also, we got, which 2 would you play between Cooper Kupp, another guy who doesn't give us first names? That's okay. Because I think it's Garrett Wilson based off the first question we got on the show from Paco. Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, Jacoby Myers. We got to go back to Kupp, right? Kupp gave us a 0. We got to go back to Cooper Kupp. We have to. You can't sit him. We know what Cooper Kupp is. He's not a 0 guy. He's not going to do that again. They're going to feed Cooper Kupp. Could be a shootout against the Jets. We're playing Kupp. All right, so there's 1. Now, between Wilson and Myers, Aiden O'Connell is going to play, which is phenomenal news for Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is a smash. He's a smash in Jacoby Myers terms, at least. He's a top 24 wide receiver this week. Has to be. I have Jacoby Myers ranked as my tight end wide receiver 20, and Garrett Wilson is my wide receiver 25. Devontae Adams has taken over that passing game for the Jets. I think Garrett Wilson can survive in that environment, but I'm going to go Cooper Kupp. I'm going to go Jacoby Myers over Zach Wilson. Appreciate you, Ray. Mr. Magic, Kyler or Jaden Daniels? Kyler's got a great matchup. But he's on the road. Did you guys see his comments they asked him in the press conference? They told him that it's going to be a cold game. He's like, you know what? I don't care. I played in cold games before. And then he was like, wait a second. How cold are we talking? And the reporter told him 35 degrees. He just paused and he's like, shit. It was just funny. It was a funny moment. And that is actually, I think it's a real concern. Kyler Murray in the cold. Is he Tua in the cold? I don't know. Is it Tua cold for him? I don't know. Probably is. Or Jaden Daniels. I think we're gonna go Jaden Daniels. Tough matchup. But I still have him as a top 6 quarterback this week. I got Kyler as my QB 11. Great matchup. But what happens when James Conner runs for 2 touchdowns, Bryce Young throws a pick 6, and all of a sudden it's, 24-3 after halftime? It's going to just be James Conner. That's what I'm worried about with Kyler. Whereas Jaden Daniels is going to be throwing the whole time against the Eagles. He's going to have to keep up with them. So I think we can go Jaden Daniels there. He's finally healthy again. Henry is asking, probably going to wrap this up pretty soon because, like I said, I got another show, 9:15 with Sam. I do need to take like a 2-minute break before we jump on that show. So we got a couple minutes, but we're gonna talk sleepers and streamers for week 16 right here on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. So make sure you like the video. I'm terrible at this. Like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that show. We do it every week. We're here for you. We're here for the people. Sleepers and streamers. It's a fun show. It's my favorite show of the week. Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Kenneth Walker, Rico Dowdle, Bucky Irving. You got to pick 2. So we're going to go Cooper Kupp. We're definitely not playing the fake receiver, Deebo Samuel. He's a fraud. I'm not that interested in Kenneth Walker against a tough Vikings defense, coming back from an injury after Zach Charbonnet has played well for a couple of weeks. That's going to be a 50-50 split. I like Rico. I like Bucky. That's a fun game. Cowboys, Buccaneers, could be a lot of points scored in that game. We're going to play Cooper Kupp, and then it's kind of a toss-up for me between Rico Dowdle and Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, he looked better last week. Hopefully, another week removed from the hip and the back injury. He's a little closer to 100%. Rico Dowdle, a few weeks ago, the Cowboys came to the realization, you know what? Ezekiel Elliott actually sucks. We're going to stop using him. And we're just going to go with Rico Dowdle. Now, Rico Dowdle is efficient. He doesn't rip off big runs. I think his longest run last week was like 12 or 13 yards, even though he carried the ball like 30 times. But he gets you there. He gets you a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And when all is said and done, he has 149 rushing yards. Buccaneers are pretty decent against the run. They're bad against the pass. They're decent against the run. They got a Vita Vea in the middle there. Just looking at the running back rankings, I do have Rico Dowdle because he has that offense to him, that backfield to himself, essentially. I have him as my RB11. Bucky Irving as my RB13. I'd be fine playing both of those guys. But I think we do get to play Cooper Kupp, and I guess we go Rico Dowdle. You could probably flip a coin between he and Bucky Irving. I'd lean Dowdle. Ken is asking second quarterback / superflex or flex. Kyler Murray, Penix, T. Higgins in the superflex spot. Is that I think I'm interpreting that correctly. We got to play Kyler Murray. If we have a good quarterback, a top 12 quarterback, we're playing him in the superflex spot, even over a guy like T. Higgins. I'm playing Kyler Murray. Now, if it was between T. Higgins and Michael Penix, I'm going to pull out the Penix and I'm going to put in Higgins. But that's not the question. We're going to go Kyler Murray. And I think we finished with this one because like I said, we have another show coming up in 15 minutes. Got to get ready for that. Eric is asking, how do you think Kenneth Walker is going to do? I could start Jerome Ford or Kendra Miller or Tajay Spears over him. So I did kind of touch on this a couple of times actually during the show. I think it's going to be a 50-50 split between Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. We're going to Kenneth Walker coming back from his injury, multi-week absence. Zach Charbonnet played really well when Kenneth Walker was out. So I think we're going to get probably a pretty close to 50-50 split between those two guys. Now, there could be a lot of points scored in that game. However, we talked about earlier the weather. There's going to be weather in that game, which isn't going to affect the run game necessarily, but it's going to affect the efficiency of the offenses overall and the points that are scored in that game. With that said, looking at the running back rankings, I do still have Kenneth Walker ranked ahead of Jerome Ford, which is also ahead of Kendra Miller and Tajay Spears. So I would play Kenneth Walker. I have him as my RB21, Jerome Ford as my RB22. I could really flip-flop that one either way. I feel pretty similar about both of those guys if I had to project them out for the week. Kendra Miller down at RB28. And Tajay Spears I have as RB37. Now, if Tony Pollard were to be out, that would certainly come significantly up for Tajay Spears. And in that case, I think we would play Spears. If Tony Pollard ends up being out, you would play Spears. If not, you can probably flip a coin between Kenneth Walker, Jerome Ford. I would lean Walker just because he's the guy in the better offense. I said that was the last question, but let's just answer this one real quick from Alex. He's got a great name, so we got to answer it. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. You know what? A few weeks ago, this would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's Jordan Love. But Jordan Love isn't throwing the ball much. And he's playing against the Saints with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. He's not going to have to throw the ball much in this one. You could literally just walk out there and be like, you know what? We're just going to hand it to Josh Jacobs 65 times in this game. And you're going to walk away with the win. Obviously, that's not what's going to happen. With that said, I do have Aaron Rodgers ranked pretty low. I might want to move him up my rankings because he has been pretty good. He's been a QB1 over the last several weeks. I might do it. I might just go Aaron Rodgers because he's going to throw the ball, right? He's going to throw it. They're going to throw the ball in New York against the Rams. But then it's also like a fantastic matchup for Jordan Love. I think we got to fix the rankings and move Aaron Rodgers up ahead of Jordan Love. I think I want to play Aaron Rodgers. Ugh. I think we got to play Rodgers. All right. I need to stop, but I don't want to stop. We do answer questions on the Sleepers and Streamers show. So bring your questions. If I don't get to your questions, bring them to that show. Give me a 20-minute break, and then we'll get in there. But Derek is asking Shakir or McMillan. I love McMillan this week. I love Shakir. I have Shakir ahead of McMillan. And I still got to go Kyler Murray over Aaron Rodgers. Sleepers and Streamers is coming up. We usually go about 9:15, 20, 25 minutes from now, right here on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. Like, subscribe. Don't miss that show. You can also check out my rankings at yardsperfantasy.com. We have a start-sit tool as well. Check that out. Hit me up in the Discord. I think the link is in this video description. Join our Discord. We're around 24/7. It's not just me. We've got other analysts answering your questions in there as well. All day, every day. Check us out. yardsperfantasy.com. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. And don't forget, we got a start-sit show, 12:20 Eastern time tomorrow, all the way up to kickoff. See you soon.